KC, Skanda 10, chapter 37. In the meantime, Kesi, under the orders of Kansa, entered Vraja in the form of a fiery steed. Krishna held him aloft by the feet and threw him away. The Asura regained consciousness and again ran after Krishna. He thrust his hand inside the mouth of the Asura and killed him at once. The Devas rained flowers over him and prayed. Rishi Narada also appeared and adored him, making reference to his future deeds. Vyoma, Skanda 10, chapter 37. The Gopas were grazing cattle on the flat summit of a hill. Some played the part of thieves, some that of cattle keepers, and some the part of sheep. The Asura Vyoma, son of Maya, assumed the form of a Gopa and, playing the part of a thief, carried away many Gopas who became sheep, and he confined them in a hill cave closed by stones. In the playground, only 4 or 5 Gopas remained. Krishna found out the mischief, attacked the Asura, and killed him. Akrura. Akrura was mightily pleased that he would see the lotus feet of Rama and Krishna. His devotion to Krishna knew no bounds, and he knew full well whatever his mission might be, the Lord would find out his inward devotion. At sunset, he reached Gokula and, on seeing Rama and Krishna, fell down at their feet. They duly honored him. Nanda also shewed every respect to Akrura. At night, Akrura made a clean breast of everything to Rama and Krishna, telling how Kansa oppressed the Yadus, how Narada informed him of their presence in Braja and who they were, how he planned their death, and the mission on which he sent him. Rama and Krishna only laughed. The next morning, they informed Nanda about the command of the king. Nanda asked the Gopas to prepare themselves with presents, and the Gopa girls, who could measure the depth of their sorrow, their plaintive strains were most heart rendering. They wept. They followed the chariot carrying Rama and Krishna. Krishna, to console them, sent word that he would come back. At last, the chariot became invincible, and the gopis went back to their homes. On reaching the banks of the Yamuna, the brothers took their bath in the river and refreshed themselves with its water. They took their seat again in the chariot. Akrura asked their permission and went to bathe. He plunged himself in the waters and duly performed the ablution ceremonies. He made a japa of Veda mantras. But lo, he found before him Rama and Krishna. They were in the chariot. How could they appear then? He rose and saw the boys were really seated in the chariot. He plunged himself once more and saw in the waters the serpent king Ananta, with 1,000 heads and 1,000 crowns, dressed in blue clothes, white in body, adored by Siddhas, Charanas, Gandharvas, and Asuras. Embraced by him was the dark Purusha, dressed in yellow clothes with 4 hands, adored by the rishis. Akrura made salutations and adored the Purusha with folded hands. Krishna then withdrew his form, as a play is withdrawn from the stage. Akrura got up and took his seat in the chariot. Krishna said, Akrura, you look as if you have been something unusual. Akrura replied, what is there in the universe that is not in thee? When I have seen thee, I have seen everything. They drove on again and at last reached Madhura. Madhura, Skanda 10, chapter 41 to 42. Akrura asked Krishna and all the Gopas to come to his house. But Krishna would first kill Kansa before doing him this favor. So Akrura sorrowfully left him and informed Kansa about the performance of his mission. Krishna with Balarama and the Gopas went out to see the town. The house tops became crowded with females who wanted to have a look at Krishna, whose fame had already preceded him. A washerman passed that way. Krishna begged him to give him some choice clothes. But he was a washerman of Kansa, and he arrogantly refused to give any of the king's clothes. Krishna, in anger, cut off his head. The attendants left the clothes and fled away. Rama and Krishna took as many as they liked and gave the rest to the Gopas. A weaver came forward of his own accord and gladly dressed the brothers with choice clothes. Krishna rewarded him with great powers and provided for him Sarupya after death. Then the brothers went to the house of a garland maker named Sudama. Sudama fell down at their feet and adorned them, and the Gopas with the best garlands. The garland maker prayed for constant devotion, for friendship with the devotees, and for love of all beings. Krishna gave him these boons as well as many other blessings. A young girl went that way with fragrant paste in her hand. Though young and beautiful, she was hunchbacked. Krishna said smilingly, "The fine girl that thou art, tell me truly what this scented thing is for. Anoint us with this, and good shall be your lot." The girl said, "My name is Trivakra, with three bends. I am a servant of Kansa. He likes my paste very much. Who but you can deserve to have it?" The girl then anointed the brothers with zeal and love. Krishna pressed her feet with the tips of his own feet and held up her chin with two fingers, and with a little effort made her erect. The hunch on her back was gone, and she became a beauty. She invited Krishna to her own house. Krishna knew her object and said, "Let me first do my work, and then I shall visit your house." He then passed through the traders' quarters. They made various presents. Krishna then inquired where the yajna dhanu, the bow to be used in the performance of the yajna, was. Though warned by the citizens, he entered the place and easily broke the bow as under. There was great noise. The warders ran to kill him. He killed the guardsmen with the two parts of the bow. It was then sunset. The boys returned with the Gopas to their quarters. Kansa heard of the valor of the boys and passed the night in evil dreams. When the day broke, he made preparations for the wrestling match. The wrestling. Skanda 10, chapter 43 to 44. Kansa took his seat on a raised platform with his ministers. There was beating of drums. The athletes appeared on the scene headed by Chanur, Mushtika, Kuta, Sala, and Toshala. Nanda and other Gopas made their presence and were shown over to another platform. Hearing the noise, Rama and Krishna also came to see the match. At the entrance, they were obstructed by the elephant Kubalaya Pida. Krishna asked the driver to remove the elephant, but he only set it upon him. There was a fight, and Krishna at last succeeded in felling the elephant to the ground. He then plucked out its teeth, and with their help, he killed both the animal and its driver. Blood-stained, the two brothers entered the wrestling ground with the ivory teeth in their hands. All were struck by their appearance. The account of the elephant's death struck terror into Kansa's heart. He began to tremble. The people of Mathura were attracted by the divine form of the brothers, and they began to talk about their deeds. Chanura, addressing the brothers, said, "You are known as good wrestlers. The king has therefore invited you to this match. Come and do the pleasure of the king, for the king is the embodiment of all devas." Krishna said, "We dwell in the forest, but still we are subjects of the king of Boja. That we are ordered to please the king is a great favor to us. But we are boys. We shall play with those of equal might. There will then be a fair match, and there will be no injustice attaching to those present here." Chanura replied, "You are neither a boy nor a youth below 15, Krishna. Nor is Balarama so. You killed that elephant with the might of 1,000 elephants, as it were, in sport. It is meet, therefore, you shall fight with the powerful. There is no injustice in this. You measure your strength with me, and let Balarama do so with Mushtika." So it was. The fight was a drawn one. At last, the brothers killed their rivals. Kuta then confronted Balarama, who killed him with his fist. Sola and Tosala also fell dead before Krishna. The other wrestlers fled for their lives. Rama and Krishna then called their Gopa companions and began to dance together on the wrestling ground. well done, cried all except Kansa. The death of Kansa. Skanda 10, chapter 44. Kansa stopped the music. He exclaimed, "Let these two unruly sons of Vasudeva be driven out from the town. Take away the wealth of the Gopas. Confine this wicked Nanda. Kill that vile Vasudeva. My father Ugrasena is partial to my enemies. Kill him with all his attendants." While Kansa was thus bragging, Krishna got angry, and with one jump he got upon the platform. Kansa stood up with his sword and shield. Krishna held him by his hair and threw him down from the platform. He then jumped over Kansa, and his life departed. He then dragged the dead body of Kansa in the presence of all. Kansa, through fear and anxiety, had always thought of Krishna, and now being killed by his hands, he attained the Rupa of Krishna. The eight brothers of Kansa attacked Krishna, but they were put to death by Balarama. There were great rejoice amongst the devas. The wives of Kansa loudly lamented the death of their husband. Bhagavan consoled them. He then liberated his father and mother and touched their feet. He then took leave of Nanda and Gopas, promising a speedy return to them.